But I mastered that style. It's like the 5 deadly venoms. So all he had to do was get next to a nigga like that. He could destroy him.
Believe in that, for real. We plan to take the same strategy we use with Death Row West, mind over matter, taking all our weaknesses and making it into our strength. That all these people talk about the East Coast, West Coast war, they like the Judas was to Jesus. They only here to cause confusion. We here to bring money and to bring change. They here to cause confusion. All these weak rappers, Nas, all these suckers, they battling off of East and West like this is a game. This ain't no game. If this was chess, we'd be yelling checkmate 3 years ago, because we've been beat these. It's not a game.
What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I told you, expect me like you expect Jesus. The only way for me to come back is as Ego Valley. Now, y'all about to get this work. I don't care about nobody's feelings in this video. I'm just going to speak my mind, just my thoughts. Now, Manny Pacquiao, he did an interview with the Phil Star. Shout out to them. Link in the description. And in that interview, what I read was horrendous, and I'm going to discuss that in this video. Now, regarding his shoulder, this is what Pacquiao said. He's displaying no problems showing a full variety of arm motions and vertical extensions on his arm. He's trying to promote basketball. There's a video that surfaced. He's playing basketball. I posted the video where he was scuba diving in the ocean. And this is quick. His injury, he just posted this 13 weeks ago saying, hey, I just got the shoulder. Thanks for my family and these types of things. So this is pretty recent that he just had the shoulder surgery for a significant tear. And here's a direct quote from Pacquiao. I'm fine. It's God's work. I never saw a doctor. I never did rehab. All I did was to swim in the sea as often as I could. The salt water healed my wound. Like, okay, man. As a boxing fan, if you truly respect the sport, you have to find a way to curb your emotions and separate the fantasy from the fiction, right? What's real in the sport of boxing? I don't care if Manny Pacquiao is your favorite fighter. Something about this story has to strike you as odd. And for me, it was always that way. I told you from the jump. I made several videos about this. I didn't buy it. I felt something was off. Maybe they were embellishing. Maybe he wasn't really injured. Maybe he was injured, or it was like a prefabricated excuse in case he were to lose that they could use. But there's too many inconsistencies. And if you treat this like a court case and you lay it all on the table, the timeline, what's being said, there's no confidence in the story. There was things that were all over the place. They were saying, oh, it occurred before the fight, so we were looking for a Toradol shot, and we were denied that Toradol shot. Then some people questioned, how did he have that successful round against Floyd Mayweather in round 4? Then they said it happened after. Then they said it happened before, during the Oscar de la Hoya days. The story is all over the place. They started getting sued, and then the times changed. Then you had Bob Arum publicly saying, I'm upset that Pacquiao's missing his doctor's appointments, not checking in, doing his rehab. Now you have Manny Pacquiao corroborating, saying, I didn't see a doctor. I didn't do rehab. It was all the ocean and salt water that healed my wound. Catches bullets with his teeth? Nigga, please. Like, this is getting ridiculous, man. I don't care who likes it. I don't care who's mad. Y'all can do whatever, say whatever you want. But we got to be realistic here as boxing fans. And I've always supported Pacquiao. I bought pretty much all of his pay-per-view fights or went to watch him live at my brother's. Whatever the situation is, I followed his whole career. I have no problem with Pacquiao. What I do have a problem with is the treachery. And I can't buy this story. There's too many inconsistencies, as I've said time and time again. And it's embarrassing. And I think it's also embarrassing to Pacquiao. His whole legacy is like, it doesn't have to be this. Just, you lost, take your L. You got guys like Sergio Martinez, who in fight in the first round, we clearly seen an injury on an older body, a 40-year-old body, came back to plague him and haunt him in that fight against Miguel Cotto. He didn't make a bunch of excuses. He just hopped into retirement, and that was the next stage for his career. But he gave Cotto credit. And even though we know, the world knows that Sergio that showed up versus Cotto wasn't the same Sergio that even fought Chavez Jr. a couple years prior, or Kelly Pavlik. We know that because we could see that. It wasn't him. Not saying he would have beat Cotto. I don't know. I'm not even here to speculate. I don't even care. But the fact is, he took his L like a man, and did the next phase of his career, which was to retire. He's like, man, okay, I just don't got it no more. Now, Pacquiao could still fight, but this is a black eye. I think the best thing he could have done is just took the 150 million and just bounce back. Just bounce back. You've been knocked out, which is worse than losing a decision to Mayweather. Everyone loses a decision to Mayweather or gets knocked out, depending on what weight division we're talking. So I have no choice but to believe the buildup. He's really let down because he's taking this loss harder than KO losses. And I think it was because there was so much at stake, so much on the line. And I just find at this point, it's sounding pretty pathetic. Ocean water healed you. And trust me, I'm an optimistic person. I understand and I believe in spirituality and believe. I have a belief system. You can pray. Like, those are all good things. But you're turning religion, like God just, he said, me child, I'm going to heal you. I don't believe that Pacquiao is just this immortal Logan Wolverine Project X. Like, his body's just filled with adamantium. He's some kind of Terminator cyborg and Superman that he can do and defy the odds in every situation. Like, in fight, you're fighting, slinging shots, throwing KO haymakers and missing wildly against Mayweather with no flinching, no like grimace of pain, no indications that you're even hurt. And then on top of that, you're swimming in the ocean, you're playing basketball, doing crossovers in record-breaking time, whereas other guys like Kobe Bryant and even guys that are younger than you got to keep in mind, Pacquiao is a fighter who fights very aggressive, and he's been fighting as a pro since the 90s, and he's been fighting since he was a kid. So that's a lot of mileage and a lot of wear and tear on your bodies, not to mention that he's been knocked out on more than one occasion. Those take years off of you. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you were to look at a boxer's brain or a boxer's body at age 46 versus a banker's body, the same build and everything at 46, you'll probably see some discrepancies because the fighter takes punishment for a living. You know what I'm saying? So again, you got guys who are younger than Pacquiao and they can't make this miraculous recovery, and their bodies haven't taken the, you know what I mean, training camp after training camp and years of a professional fighting experience. And then also you look at Pacquiao, been knocked out. You look at Pacquiao, he had some phases where he was living kind of wild, partying and drinking and doing whatever else he was doing. You know what I'm saying? So he abused his body because he had already accomplished so much in the sport, things like that. And Pacquiao is just the chosen one, and he just recovers much quicker than anybody else could have imagined. So to me, there's something fishy about it, whether it was embellished and he had something minor wrong and they made it like this was the reason he lost, but the story doesn't add up. And to me, even like, you got to look at it like this. Hypothetically, I'll play devil's advocate. Let's say this injury is just everything that they said it was, and it was that severe. But the public, guys like me, Paulie Malignaggi, and a ton of other people didn't really buy the shoulder injury, including Floyd Mayweather, who spoke out on it on Showtime, and it probably has like 1 million views at this point. So since the overall consensus is something is wrong with this shoulder injury story, wouldn't you at least attempt to make it look like you're doing the standard rehab, even if you're, and not even just to fake it. Sometimes someone will show signs of health, but they will re-aggravate their injury if they do too much. That's my whole thing. I've been injured before. Like, I went to, one time I pulled, it was weird. I don't even know how I did it, but I was at the gym and I was in an immense amount of pain. And then I later found out that I guess I had pulled a rib, and it felt like somebody shot me in my rib. Like, taking deep breaths would affect me. It felt like I had like a real bad case of asthma. I couldn't really lift. So then when I went back to the gym, when I finally got back in the gym, I had to sit out for a while. When I finally went back in the gym, I had to take it easy. I wasn't lifting the same weights that I was lifting beforehand because I didn't want to re-aggravate anything. So I had to kind of build back up to that. So even if Pacquiao is feeling a lot better, why wouldn't you take it easy to make sure you have the, like, you know what I mean? It's not a false alarm. Like, oh yeah, I'm feeling great. Nah. And then you re-aggravate something. That's how injuries work, right? Derrick Rose, yeah, I'm back. Yeah. And then, you know what I mean? At practice or in another game, he'll re-aggravate his injury, or his muscles are still weak, so he gets re-injured. That's how injuries happen, right? But Pacquiao is the only one with a significant tear that miraculously, in record-breaking time, is healed, and he's moving around and moving like he doesn't care. So to me, there's something wrong with that picture. Like, he wasn't really that injured, because why would you even chance it? You're a professional fighter. You need your arms to fight. You know what I'm saying? So why would you chance re-aggravating your injury? You know what I mean? And what it's seeming like to me is those people you see on like True TV, those little hidden camera, private surveillance type of shows where someone's frauding workers' comp. They're like, oh, my back, and then they're at their job on workers' comp or on modified light duty. Then there's a private investigator that follows them. They're golfing, they're riding around in carts, they're doing pull-ups, then cartwheels, and doing all these things that they're not supposed to be doing, because on their paperwork it says they're in immense amount of pain, and they're really doing all these activities that you shouldn't. And then those people end up getting tried, and I have to pay the money back and arrested and stuff. I used to work at Sears, and that's exactly what happened. Undercover cops came in, or whatever bureau, I don't know who they were. They had Hawaiian shirts, and they went and arrested this dude. His name was Billy. I mean, that's not too much of a giveaway. But anyway, they arrested him. I think he was helping a customer, and he got arrested on the spot because he was on light duty at Sears, and he was saying all these things were wrong with him. And I guess they had some kind of compelling evidence that would suggest that he really wasn't. You know what I mean? So a lot of times those worker comp, they have people check on you and follow you, and you know what I mean? Make sure, because nobody wants to just arbitrarily pay somebody to not be doing their regular job code, and you're milking the system. And that's what it feels like with this Pacquiao situation. So Pacquiao, as far as I'm concerned, he might as well just come back in December. And again, it does not a good look, and it pretty much pushes my point to the limelight when you got even his promoters like, I'm upset he's missing his doctor's appointments. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you even do, that's what I'm saying. Like, why would you do stuff like that? Like, oh, I'm just going to leave it in God's hands in ocean water. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, really? You're not going to, so you entrusted the doctor to perform the surgery, but you're not going to entrust the doctor to provide you with the best physical therapy to get you right back on track for your career, and you're going to do your own thing and leave it in God's hands and leave it to the ocean to naturally, organically heal you with salt water. Salt water? Get out of here. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like my video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.